Hello, everyone. It's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another Instant Deck Tech. So, as you know, Wednesday means it's Wild Card Wednesday here in Instant Deck Tech Land, and we have a crazy modern deck to look at this week. I'm calling this one Red White Legendary Tribal, and it comes to us from Daniela Diaz, probably better known as Holy Diva, who is a pretty well-known Magic Online player. We played her Blue-Red Prowess deck, or Blue-Red Killing Fiend Prowess deck, a while ago on Much Brew and had an instant deck of it. So this is the latest brew from Daniela. So congrats to Daniela on a super unique deck. A quick reminder before we break down Red White Legendary Tribal for Modern. If you enjoy this deck and you want to see it made into videos, take a minute, click the like button, the subscribe button, leave a comment, anything you can do to support your deck, because whichever deck is most popular gets a shot at being made into videos next week. So, Red White Legendary Tribal starts off with Mox Amber, and we've played Mox Amber decks in Modern before, like the Mox and Taxes deck, but this deck is a little bit different. It's not just a Mox Amber deck where you're like, alright, I'm playing White Weenie, gonna play some Legends so I can activate Mox Amber. This deck is straight up Legendary Tribal, and we have way more Legendary payoffs than just Mox Amber. And the Mox Amber, of course, in an all-Legend deck, can be very powerful, because it's just a land, essentially, that doesn't count as a land, can even be a dual land if you have 2 colors of mana, lets you potentially play 2 1-drops on turn 1 and just accelerate super quickly, breaking the 1 land a turn rule. So Mox Amber is one of our legendary payoffs, but we also have Day of Destiny and 3 copies of one of my favorite cards, Urza's Ruinous Blast in Modern. So Day of Destiny is a legendary enchantment that gives all legendary creatures you control +2/+2, which is incredibly scary. We have the ability to curve out with Legends from turn 1, on turn 2, on turn 3, back that up with Day of Destinies on turn 4, and suddenly our 2/2s are 4/4s, and our 3/2s are 5/4s, and it just gets way out of control super quickly. And then Urza's Ruinous Blast is kind of our finisher. Literally every single non-land card in our main deck is a legend, so it does not hurt us at all, and unless things go super horribly wrong, we should always have a legendary creature on the battlefield. And then, most modern decks aren't really playing that many legends, so it's kind of just one-sided Wrath that exiles all permanents, has weird upside where it's crushing decks like Lantern Control that would normally be really annoying because you don't necessarily have main deck cards to deal with artifacts or random enchantments that pop up, a Worship, for example, that you just sometimes get got by, or a Blood Moon because you don't have the main deck answers to them. Urza's Ruinous Blast answers everything, and it's insane in our deck. So these are kind of our legendary payoffs. Let's talk about our legendary creature. So we start off with our 1-drops, and we played Ishimaru and Kytheon in the Mox and Taxes deck. Going into red gives us an additional 1-drop, also lets us avoid playing 4 copies of Ishimaru and Kytheon, which can get pretty clunky. So we have Ishimaru, just a 2/2 for 1, Kytheon, a Savannah Lions, a 2/1 for 1, can flip around into a Planeswalker. Zergo, not really great at blocking big things, but another 2/2 for 1, we can even dash it in if we need to. So these start off our curve. If we have a Mox Amber, we can play 2 of them on turn 1 potentially, and then they give us creatures on the battlefield that benefit from Day of Destinies, lets us cast our Urza's Ruinous Blast. Then we have our Thalias, Thalia Guardian of Thraben, Thalia Heretic Cathar, really good at slowing the opponent down. We're mostly a creature deck, so paying extra 1 for our non-creature spells, not really a big deal. Thalia just taxes our opponent's blockers. If they play a creature, it comes into play tap, so they can't block right away. Also our opponent's non-basic lands. Then we have some standard stuff, which looks a little weird in Modern. Our pirate package, carries F Skyship Raider, Captain Lannery Storm, and I don't even know. These are not cards that jump off the page as playable in Modern, but if you really want Legends, they are pretty good. So Carry Zev hits for 3, technically, kind of hard to block. Captain Lannery Storm can make us some extra mana with our treasures. We do have some 5-mana stuff, so in theory, we can do crazy things like turn 1 1-drop and Mox Opal, turn 2 Captain Lannery Storm, turn 3 we can play one of our big 5-drops to close out the game. Then we have one of the spiciest cards in the entire deck, Hikori Dustdrinker. Hikori is another kind of finisher in the deck. It makes it so lands don't untap during their controller's untap step, but at the beginning of each player's upkeep, they can untap a single land they control. So it's basically a Winter Orb on a legendary 2/2 for 4 body. So the idea is, we have all this cheap stuff. We also have our Mox Ambers. We could just play a bunch of stuff on the battlefield, and then play Hikori as kind of like a pseudo Armageddon. Yes, it doesn't blow up all the lands, but it's going to drastically cut down on mana. We're still untapping our Mox Amber, so we're going to have at least 2 mana a turn. Our opponent is only untapping 1 land, so they probably have 1 mana a turn, so we can leverage that into pulling even further ahead in the game. Then we have our big finishers, Hazoret the Fervent, Shalai Voice of Plenty, and Lyra Dawnbringer in Modern. So these cards just take advantage of the fact that we want legends, we need ways to close out the game, we have extra mana for Mox Amber, so we can accelerate into them very quickly. Hazoret, we can dump our hand pretty fast in this deck. Shalai gives our other stuff protection, also just a random Gotya card if our opponent's trying to storm off or something. They got to deal with Shalai before they grape shot our face. Lyra, huge, lifelinking, pumping our Shalai, I guess, is a fringe upside, but just really big, evasive, hard to deal with creatures to close out the game. Mana base, we keep the legendary theme going with Untidak the Cloudkeeper, which is a crazy land. Like, we've seen in Eldrazi in Modern, that Eldrazi Temple is insanely powerful because it taps for 2 mana. Untidak taps for 2 mana, you gotta pay 2 life for it, but only for legends, which means we can do really, really crazy things. Like, for example, on turn 2, because it enters tapped, which is a bit of a downside, but on turn 2 we can Untidak, we can have a Mox Amber, make our other land drop, and play just like a turn 2 Lyra or something, with the help of this producing so much mana. Ajano and Shinka just give us some additional benefits with our legends. They're just one-ofs, but they enter untapped, so outside of Blood Moon, they're really not much of a downside to play one of them. Ajano keeps our legends alive. Shinka makes them hard to deal with in combat with First Strike. A bunch of fetch lands, some shock lands, some more dual lands, some basic lands. In the sideboard, we get a few more legendary creatures. Kataki to deal with Affinity. Linvala for random, like Walking Ballista, Mana Dork, Collected Company type deck. Shalai for combo. Tesha really good at fighting through more controlling matchups, removal heavy matchups. If our opponent's trying to 1-for-1 us to death with Thought Seizes and Fatal Pushes and Lightning Bolts and Kolaghan's Commands, Teshar comes down and we just like cast our Mox Amber, cast a 1-drop, get back some of our creatures that died to kind of fizzle all that removal. Another Urza's Ruinous Blast, some Path Exiles for removal, Stony Silence for Affinity and Tron, Damping Sphere to shut down combo, and that is Red-White Legendary Tribal for Modern. And that's our Urza deck tech for today. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, help us out by clicking that like button down below. And to keep up on all the latest and greatest, click that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell icon to get alerts whenever we have new videos. And if you want to, check out some of our other sweet videos here and here.